Hey there, welcome back to the Mothcast, a podcast about video games and how a couple of moths feel about them. The game for episode 21 is called Guacamelee, a 2D platform metroidvania game set in Mexico. Get your tortilla chips and let's get into the podcast. All right. The game this week is called Guacamelee Super
Guacamelee.
Turbo. What is it? Tournament edition?
Championship edition.
Oh, is it championship? I don't know why I think it's. Wait, are you sure it's champion?
Yeah, it says it right here. Super Turbo Championship edition.
No, it's cut off for me. It just says Super Turbo. I have to click on the actual icon. Anyway,
you can read the actual picture.
What do you mean the actual picture? Like, I have an icon on my desktop.
Oh, okay.
Like an actual crazy person from the early 2000s.
All right. Whatever. You don't just launch it from the Epic Games library?
No.
Weirdo?
I'm insane.
Okay. All right. Whatever.
So this game is kind of crazy.
Well, first off, it's a Metroidvania.
Yeah, it's a Metroidvania.
The name doesn't suggest it's a Metroidvania.
Yeah, I think we were both kind of taken aback. Like, we were both confused in playing this. Like, I played it first, and then I was like, Tim, you need to start playing this. Oh, God. Force close. I accidentally launched the game. Okay. No, I was like, you need to start playing this because it's a Metroidvania, and you love those. I mean, I love those, but you love those way more than I do.
I do enjoy Metroidvanias. I like the other half of my games are basically Metroidvanias.
You have like roguelikes and Metroidvanias. So this on the Epic Games Store is labeled as action adventure, fighting, and platformer. Disregarding the action adventure portion of those genres, fighting and platformer doesn't sound like anything either of us play. Well, platformers, but like fighting platformer sounds like you said when we were playing it. It was like Smash Brothers.
Smash Bros. Or like Brawlhalla or something.
Yeah.
It's like the name Guacamelee Super Turbo Championship Edition sounds like it's a fighting game.
Right, exactly. But it's not. It is a like through and through, like one of the most interesting Metroidvanias I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you read, it says Guacamelee Super Turbo Championship Edition is a Metroidvania style action platformer set in a magical world inspired by traditional Mexican culture and folklore. Well, I've never said that reading is my strong suit, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, it is, but whatever.
I didn't really look at the store page because,
I haven't done that for almost any of the games we've just played.
I thought it was a fighting game, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, that's a fighting game. I'm just gonna not.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess like that's your description of the game. Is it's a Metroidvania platformer with 2D platformer, I should say, with like heavy influences, or just straight up set in Mexico, I guess.
It is. I would assume so.
Yeah.
Considering you start on a agave field.
Yeah, you're an agave farmer. Your character,
literally just like
Juan Aguacate.
You're a tequila crafter or brewer.
Yeah, which is a hilarious
literally
name,
what you do.
But yeah. So this game's like whole, I don't know, like art direction, sound direction is just like so insanely good.
So good. Like
everything is stylized so perfectly. If you've done any kind of like research into like Mexican anything, this is so spot on. You can tell that like this is I don't even like, I should look this up. I don't know who the Drinkbox Studios. Okay, let's see. Are they a Mexican based? They're not. They're a Canadian video game developer.
Oh my God. That's
what?
Like the farthest from Mexico you can get.
Yeah, that actually makes sense though. There are actually quite a few
But hey, they did their research.
Well, no, I don't even think it's that. I think it's that there are a ton of like government grants in Canada for video gaming. Like they just give money away to if you want to play a game or if you want to be a game maker, like, and you don't have the money for it, just go to Canada and they'll fund the game. Like, as long as they get to be called, developer based in like Toronto, Ontario, or wherever. So I'm not surprised. It might just be like a fully Mexican
it could be.
team, or Mexican. Many of them were Mexican, and like they were like, "Hey, what if we did it like this? Let me show you." And the rest of the people who were there were like, "Yeah, no, that sounds great." Like,
well, I don't know. You can see a picture on Wikipedia about the team, and none of them
look Mexican.
Look Mexican.
Really?
They're all a bunch of white people. Except for
I mean,
few,
okay. First of all, you can be Mexican and look white.
Okay, that's fair.
But those look like your average American / North Americans.
Or Canadian. But like there are a few non-white people in there. Like
anyway, if they are not Mexican, they did their research like heavily.
They like really well, yeah.
Like this is spot on with everything. It's a lot of the jokes. There were some jokes in Spanish that because I have like very small amounts of Spanish, but enough to like read it.
To get the joke.
I'm like laughing the entire time because they're just stupid Spanish jokes.
I didn't get those because I'm not a Spanish speaker.
No. Sorry, well, Espanol.
But whatever. A lot of the other jokes were good.
I mean, one of the characters that you can play is literally named Tostada. Like,
yeah, that one's just. Yeah,
it's just it's fantastic. Yeah, like the other thing that this game is very, very like fantastic on is that it is just a mountain of memes everywhere.
Yeah, seriously. It's just there's so many references to so many other games, and not even just other Metroidvanias.
Yeah, no, there were.
Although I think a lot of them were references to platformers, though.
What is the game called? Castle Crashers. There was one for that.
Yeah,
I guess
there was one of those.
That is sort of.
It's
it's a side scroller.
It's a fighting game, but it's
well,
not a
there you go, fighting game. That's this. That's in. That encompasses what this wants to be.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But there was also a Captain Falcon reference too, and
I mean,
the only thing a fighting game he's in is Smash Bros. So I don't know.
Only fighting game he is Falcon Punch. Like, okay,
yeah,
yeah, no, like this game's animation is so like smooth and buttery.
Yeah.
It's just it's not even like for 2D. It's extremely stylized and just like really well done. There's a second game, and I'm really hoping that it like
lives up to the first one.
Lives up to the first one and is possibly even better, like animation wise. I'm ready.
We did, as we've said several times, we did play the Super Turbo Championship Edition, whereas there is an original.
Well, okay, but I don't think. Let's see here. Guacamelee, the original that was only on the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation Vita, which checks out, and then you can only play Guacamelee 1 if you want it, unless it's Gold Edition or the Super Turbo Championship Edition. So I don't think that I really don't think that there's anything different between the two. I think it's just like they might have updated.
It's just a port, I guess.
Yeah, I think they just ported it to like a new thing so that it can be played on PlayStation 4,
so they just
Wii U, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, etc., etc.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
So I don't think like graphic wise, I don't think it really changed anything. And then like continuing on with the heaping helping of praise, the music in this game was
music is
absolutely
so good.
Like god tier. Okay,
it is like S tier music.
Like I know that you probably like this way more than I did because you love this sort of like bit sound, music sound thing. Like that's like all you listen to.
Almost, yep.
It's like games from like Undertale and all the Undertale type music and like remixes thereof. And this is that's what this sounded like.
This is it's so good.
One of the like biggest like things, the music that it sounded like the most for me was like Rogue Legacy. Like Rogue Legacy boss fights.
Yeah, I haven't played that game in a while.
Yes, but every time I heard like the boss music, it sounded like the Ponce de Leon like boss music. It was just it's so good. Like oh my gosh.
That is the best boss music from that game.
Like just the best. I don't
But the worst boss fight.
I'm gonna have to the worst boss fight. I mean, I don't know about that. Like there's plenty of other like I listen, we're not playing that game.
Don't worry about that.
Worst one. Let me what's it called? Rogue Legacy. It's called Lamprey is what the boss music is called. And I have like several dozen plays of it on this computer. Anyway, it's because I loved it so much, but it's very short. But yeah, no, that mix of the bit music and the like Mexican folk music. Oh,
yeah, it was so good.
Add a brass horn to anything for me, and I'm ready. I'm all over it. It like I cannot praise this music enough. And like this is just going to be another point where I say if the second game does not live up to this, I'm going to cry. Like I will cry next week.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see here. I guess we'll talk about the story, but I want to talk about like story and or characters.
Before we go do that, what was your favorite like area music?
I
mean, I know they were all so good, but
like I'm gonna be honest, I think the final temple like music was just just so hype.
It was good, but mine was the mine. Did you ever go into the mine?
I went into the mine briefly, but I didn't really ever return.
Oh, okay. Well, that's unfortunate because that mine music is so good.
Like I think I went in there when I had the ability to break yellow, red, and green, but not blue. And so I did like the fights up till there. And then that was it. I never I wasn't able to do anything after that.
Okay.
And so I was just like, well, and I just like continued and forgot about it and just like went forward with the story. Yeah, I like, I don't know. This game is really, really frustrating me because, like, I just want to immediately play it again.
Yeah,
like I should be saying this at the very end, but this is like one of the few games. Like this game, I think it's been so far. Let me look at all the icons on my desktop here. This game and maybe.
Wasn't it the cave
probably
story?
just Grime. I just want to immediately pick up again and play. Like directly after I beat it, I just want to play it through again.
Yeah.
But obviously, like we've got other games to play, so can't do that. Obviously there's a second game to start, but like this is. I don't know. Maybe Spelldrifter might be the other one, but that one takes so long to beat that like I could never justify even casually playing that one. Yeah, no, like I just wanna play through it again right now, but I cannot.
Yeah, it's that good.
It's so good. So the one thing about this game that isn't as good as everything is really the story. Like the story is extremely rudimentary, very basic.
Yeah, that's fine. It doesn't need to be like an amazing story. In my opinion, I mean, it's like it was the same kind of story that like Mario, you know?
Yeah. Of course. No, it's actually exactly that story.
It is exactly like that, except the bad guy, his name is Kalaka.
Which honestly, what I should do.
How you say that? I don't know.
Yeah, that's correct.
And he captures your, I guess, like,
oh my god,
childhood sweetheart, I suppose, childhood friend, sweetheart.
I should just end myself right now. I'm sorry. I'm gonna derail for just a second. Kalaka is literally a translation of skeleton.
I was wondering because like that's what skeletons sound like.
Like I don't know. Just okay. Anyway, continue. So like
yeah,
go through like the first 5 minutes of this game.
First 5 minutes.
Describe it, and then
you
that's
wake
it.
up on the local town's like monk or church person, whatever.
I think he's a monk.
Is he a monk? I don't know. He wakes you up, asks for some help at the like his church, breaks some boxes and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
You do that. The El Presidente's daughter is coming in town because it's how do you say it? The Day of the Dead.
Yes, Day of the Dead. Dia de la Muerte.
Dia de la Muerte.
Yeah.
Pronunciation,
whatever, dude. It ruins
just gonna
me every
butcher
time.
that pronunciation real quick.
Dia de la Muerte. I think that's right? It's
something. I don't know. It's Day of the Dead. I'm an American. I'll say it. Call it as it is. It's a day. It's Day of the Dead.
Day of the Sugar Skulls. Drink your tequila. Go away from me.
But so yeah, it's like Day of the Dead. The El Presidente's mansion gets like set on fire.
Yeah, like you're in the middle of helping this guy, and it, like all of a sudden there's an explosion. And you're like, "What's that?"
Yeah, and then you go over, and the guy's like, "Oh no, save the El Presidente's daughter," and you're like, "Okay, great," and you go and do that, and then
Well, actually, okay, but hang on, because like there's something really crucial. You said before you're an agave farmer. You're making tequila, right? But the thing is at the very start of the game, everybody's like, you're kind of like a baby man. Everybody's like you're kind of a, like you're cool, but you're not that cool,
I mean, you're definitely strong. You're not really a baby man. It's more of like, oh, you're not a luchador. Oh,
yeah. You're not a luchador. And so when you go to this mansion that's on fire, the guy that's standing there is like, don't go, you'll die because you're not a luchador.
You'll probably die. And you go anyway because
you're like, no, I must go.
But El Presidente's daughter.
Yeah. And so you go into this burning mansion.
You're that kind of person. You go in, you're gonna be the hero, whatever.
Of course.
And then El Presidente's daughter gets what's her name again?
Crap.
I forget.
I'll look it up briefly.
Yeah, while you're doing that, but she gets captured by Kalaka and his gang. And then it starts this like battle scene where it's like your player character Juan versus
Lupita.
Lupita.
I think they only say it like once, but otherwise she's referred to as El Presidente's daughter, like by everyone.
Yeah. You get into the fight and you die.
I suppose it's to be noted that this versus screen is basically like, it's like a TV show of luchadors, where it would be like El Luchadoro versus
this guy versus that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's good. They do that,
which persists through the game versus every major, even sometimes minor enemy. That pops up.
Then Kalaka just kills you.
Yeah, he just kills you. You're dead.
Not in like a meta game kind of way where you you game over and you restart from back your save.
No.
No, you die.
I think it's really funny because like I was still playing it and you sent me a text. You're like, "Oop, well, he killed me. I guess I'm dead. Game over. R.I.P." And I'm like, "Yep, game's over. Time to do the podcast."
Yeah.
Like, oh well,
no,
we tried.
Die, like you get dragged to the world of the dead.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
So like you're just dead.
You wake up in the world of the dead and you're like, all right, okay. And so you head back into town.
And you go back into town, and of course there's no town because
everybody's, not dead there.
World of the dead. And then you find Tostada. Tostada?
Tostada. A is feminine. Duh.
A is feminine, yeah. But yeah, because if you change your outfit to
match, you
get Tostado.
Yeah, it's
and
funny.
vice versa.
Did you play as her the entire time?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
It felt a little weird.
You're like, I don't know if I should do this.
the picture I sent you, it felt a little weird whenever it's like, okay, let's just play as Juan. But when you change her outfit to match Juan's outfit, you get Juanita.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Anyway, she shows up and she's like, take this mask.
It'll make you stronger. You have to live up to your potential, or whatever she says.
You get a luchador mask,
and then you get like
a magic luchador mask.
You become the luchador, and then you come back to life, and then you have the power of the luchador, which makes you like super powerful and super fast, and you have the fighting ability of the luchador, and you're like, nice. And then the game begins.
Skeletons start terrorizing the town, so you fucking punch the skeletons.
Well, yeah, but I just say that like there's not really much else other like we don't really have to. We can talk about some of the big story beats, but like I don't really
start. Go save the girl.
Yeah, go save the girl. I don't know. I don't really see the need to really go on too much with the story because like I said, it's pretty rudimentary from there. I mean, we'll save the girl. That's the story.
We'll get that whenever.
I'm sorry, I cut you off. What did you say?
We'll talk about the end too, but obviously we'll put the spoiler warning.
I mean, there's not really much to talk about with the end. It's not like
it's akin to a Mario story, but like also slightly different because.
Well, okay, so like
spoiler warning here.
Well, okay, spoiler warning here, but it's a really minor spoiler. There's not like if you're playing this game for the game, not for the amazing like jaw-dropping, twisting and turning, gripping story. Like the story is mostly there.
The story is there to play the game. That's
all. It's there for comedy.
It is
like it's there because you need one, but also because like they can play with comedic timing and bits with it the entire way through.
Yep.
And so like that's why it's there.
Well, okay, anyway, the story then is the end is like he actually needed her to use as a sacrifice, a virgin sacrifice, which is also a joke about that.
Yeah,
she's like
at the very end, she's
virgin?
Like virgin sacrifice. Yeah, about that. That was gone a long time ago. Sorry about your sacrifice, there, bud.
Cuts her off and keeps going. But yeah, he needs her as a sacrifice to unite the world of the living and the world of the dead under one world and ruler himself.
Yeah.
And then also take her as his queen.
Well, right, because he's sacrificing her, so then she becomes like skeleton-fied or however, whatever he said.
Whatever. But yeah, that's it. That's the end. So it's similar to Mario, but like I don't know.
Obviously, with like
that's
kind of Mexican Day of the Dead twist.
That's kind of what Bowser tries to do. Is he tries to marry Peach several times.
I mean, I think that's mainly like a recent addition to the like Bowser Peach relationship. I think it's
true.
It's not that complicated in early games, but like whatever.
Yeah, I don't know, but still,
the another notable difference I would say is that Lupita, the El Presidente's daughter, definitely has her eyes on you, like,
Oh yeah,
for
the whole
sure.
time.
She's like, please rescue me so that we can like go off and have great sex. And it's like, oh
Yeah,
Jesus
yeah,
Christ,
yep.
okay, like I
That's
didn't know.
yeah. Also, it is worth to note that Juan is a completely silent protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
Completely.
Unless you like, he's
Like,
as silent as Link is silent. He makes
yeah, yeah,
grunts
of course.
and
He's
like
the
noises, and that's about it.
luchador noises.
Yeah, angry luchador noises, basically.
But yeah, otherwise, like people have people ask you questions several times, and you just stand there
Pretty much.
and don't say anything.
It's
Like, okay, great,
pretty
I'll take that as
genuinely
a yes.
fantastic.
And you're like, okay.
So more importantly than the story, I want to talk about the characters.
Yeah.
Because I think they did like such a fantastic job with the characters that like they're all extremely memorable. And like even looking at the
Yeah.
character list on the wiki, because we only got the basic ending, we didn't get the quote true ending.
Yeah. Which we might do again if we're
Yeah,
high
like
praises for this game. We'll probably play it again.
there are so many other characters that we didn't even talk to that I like, even the few that we did speak to. I was gonna say like at the very start of this, like there aren't that many characters, but they're all memorable. But like, no, we just didn't talk to half of them. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy. Who was your favorite boss character wise? Because I'm gonna ask the same question gameplay wise later. So like, you have the first boss. Who is the first boss?
Is
Extebe the first boss? Would you say?
I think so. That's the first one that I like shows up with a health bar.
Yeah. Okay. Huh. That's so weird because that's like, that feels like the halfway mark of the game, but it's
Yeah,
really
right?
like actually remarkably early. Technically, according to the wiki, Alabrije is the first boss, quote unquote. But like,
even though it's just like a chase sequence.
yeah, it's not much of a boss. He just kind of like breaks out and escapes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't have any problems with that. I just like held right and won, so it's not.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not really
boss.
I'm not really worried about him.
Whatever, but the Extebe is definitely the one that was first.
Yeah, she's definitely like the first character boss. Extebe, and then the next boss after that, not Tostada, was it Flameface?
I think so.
Oh my god, I'm like blanking out.
There aren't very many bosses.
Yeah, I guess there's really only like a solid 3 bosses that are necessary to beat the game, because it's like Extebe, Flameface, yeah, and then yeah.
He's right before the going into the final temple.
Yeah. Trio de la Muerte.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like Extebe, Flameface, the Trio, Jaguar, and then Carlos Calaca. Who is obviously the end boss of the game. If you look at the list of bosses in the wiki, there's Cactuardo, never seen him, don't know who that is. El Muñeco, don't know who that is either. Let's see, Salvador, don't know who that is. Ue Peck, don't know who that is. And Zope, don't know who that is. Like that is so many names that I've never heard, never seen, don't know.
Salvador's a Guacamelee 2.
He serves as the primary antagonist of Guacamelee 2. Oh, okay. So maybe this wiki is.
Yeah, it's both.
Oh, okay. Forget about it then. I guess we'll find out next week, won't we? Yeah. So yeah, those few bosses that we have.
There are only a few then.
Which one did you like the best in terms of like characterization?
I mean, obviously Zeta Bay, Exta Bay.
Yeah, she's you know, a woman scorned.
She deserves better than Kalaka, honestly.
True. Yeah, she's like
Which I think she realizes after you beat her up.
Well, yeah. She's
because,
like the main bad guy's like I don't even, I guess you could say follower, because she was the one that helped him like gain power in the first place. And then he just kind of like
helped him get like defeat El Diablo, which is the devil.
Right, which is basically the devil, which I actually think he might have been in this game. I think he's the chicken that you talk to.
Yep. He's the rooster.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who teaches you how to turn into a man.
No, I didn't help him do that. That I know of.
He teaches you how to turn into a man after you get changed into a chicken.
Mm-hmm. You do see him, but yeah, you pretty sure you see that story when you go
to hell.
When you go into hell, yeah. I think there's like a little story thing of how like what happens to El Diablo after Kalaka dethrones him, I guess.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You should go there.
Yeah, I must have
but it is like a little like a challenge place. You go in and do these just challenges, you know.
Apparently there's a DLC in Guacamelee that allows you to play as her via costume, which is kind of interesting, but whatever. Anyway, she's pretty neat. I think she's a cool lady. Can't go wrong with a brown girl who can beat the crap out of you.
And has magical powers.
Can't go wrong. Like what's
sorceress or whatever.
Like both. 10 out of 10 witch waifu. Change you into a chicken. That's fine. Flameface was like comedic timing of just like whoever wrote him was just hilarious.
Honestly, twice though. Two times he gets you both times. I mean, the joke gets you both times.
Yeah, and you're like, I know what's gonna happen, but it still gets you.
Joke, but it's still funny.
He's like, let me. I'm like hyping myself up and shooting my guns, and then he's like, all right,
the ground,
I'm gonna shoot you.
Time to die, and then he points at you, and it clicks, and he points his other one, and it clicks.
And he's like, ow,
and it's like, oh wait, fate gives it to you this time, and then it happens again later. And you're like, he's like, well, I guess you live this time again. And two times you meet him before you fight him.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like it was so funny, but
it's
like
funny.
Good God, man.
He's like celebrating by shooting his guns, and it's like then he wonders why he's out of ammo. It's like, oh well, okay, maybe if you didn't do that.
And then you have the Trio de la Muerte, which is honestly, I feel like the second least characterized, but like
he was. You kind of don't meet him throughout the game at all, really.
No, whereas Flameface and Extabay are like basically in your face the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But like
he doesn't even have a picture on the wiki.
No, unfortunately. But the trio, like they're responsible for making all the skeletons that you fight.
Yeah.
So like they're a huge they're a huge force, I guess you could say, in this universe or this world.
Yeah.
So like I don't know. They're really funny.
They're a band, I guess.
Yeah, they were talked about by various. Go ahead.
They contracted Kalaka, and they made a deal with him that he would raise their fourth member. If they made him an army of skeletons.
Yeah.
So that's their whole drive.
Well, and like various points in the like as you're going along in the various towns, they're talked about as the trio, and they're like, oh, we're gonna get our quartet back together. And like, are they ever gonna get their quartet back together? Like
Yeah.
some say that like they're in the land of the dead and that they'll get their quartet back together on the Day of the Dead. It's like, oh, okay. And then like
Maybe
you never
if
see them again after the first time until you fight them.
Kalaka, is not a bastard. Like, actually sticks to his word, but
Well, I mean,
whatever.
judging by what happened to them in the end, I mean, I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't think it really mattered either because, just beat the crap out of him.
but
They fall
the
apart
thing that
home.
made them really good was the fact that it was 3 characters that are like occupying one body.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of like slapstick, like Three Stooges style humor.
Three Stooges, yeah.
Yeah. Where they're like, is that Kalak on the phone? Give me the phone. Smack, grabs the phone out of the air, like, what do you want? Like but yeah,
Yeah.
they're quite good. They're quite good. Even if they're only characterized by a little bit and like various like
They're Go ahead.
text-based storytelling along the way.
Yeah. Their boss fight was pretty good too. It was a little hard. I died once or twice to it, but
I also did. But we'll talk about
annoyingly,
that here in a minute.
I did die to Extabay when I first fought.
Yeah,
But
I think I died to every single boss except for Flameface. Flameface.
yeah,
Oh
me
well,
too.
no, I didn't die to Jaguar Javier either.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah,
So it was like
I
Flameface
consider
and
him a mini
Javier
boss,
were easy.
but he did have a health bar, so.
Yeah. So Jaguar Javier, I don't understand.
Is that how you say that?
Yeah,
Javier?
Javier.
Okay.
Which, it's kind of I guess it's kind of like counterintuitive considering the Jaguar
Maybe a
is an English
Jaguar?
word and then
Jaguar
Javier is Spanish, so like
doesn't really roll off the tongue very easily.
you kind of you abide by English pronunciation in the first word and Spanish pronunciation in the second word, so
Yeah.
like it's kind of, I don't know, maybe that's a funny
It's there for the visual joke.
yeah, a funny
Not
joke
for the
in itself. The I don't really know much about him. Like maybe
No,
we'll learn more about him, but like
he was a former student of UA Chivo,
yeah, I don't know who that
the
is.
the goat man.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh
They
no,
say
I
that
did know
whenever
that.
Yeah. They say that whenever you meet Chivo.
Yeah, because he's
Goat
like,
man.
yeah, don't fight my apprentice. He'll kick your butt, and you're like, try me.
Bet.
um,
But yeah, speaking of Chivo, Mr. Goatman, he's the one who gives you like all your abilities.
yeah.
All
I mean,
your
do
abilities.
you want to talk about the abilities?
No,
Yeah,
I want to talk first. I want to talk about how you get those abilities.
Yeah, let's
When
talk
you
about
find his hut,
gameplay.
you break his statue, which is a Chuzo statue, which is definitely not a Chozo statue.
Yeah, no,
from
certainly
Metroid.
not. Definitely
It's not. It's a Chuzo.
Definitely doesn't look anything like a Chozo statue. Not shaped like one at all. Don't
Definitely
punch
not.
it. It's
Don't
fine.
break it. He'll get mad at you. You have to break it.
You have to.
You break them all. And
Very
then,
often you're thrown into a pit to where you can't leave unless you break it because it gives you a power to let you leave that pit.
That's classic Metroid.
Yeah.
Um,
pretty much.
But yeah, it's like a constant of like you break the statue, he shows up and like scolds you for breaking his statues.
Very
It's
often,
"Stop breaking
like
my statues.
Very often coming out of the statue, like you break it and he comes from the rubble and he's like, "What have you done?
Why did you break my statue again?"
Like
And
I
you're
like the one where he was in the statue in the swamp and like you break it and he's like, I finally got dry in there and it's all wet out here. How dare you? It's like,
that one was good.
Okay.
Then there was one where it was on the statue was on the side and he was like perched on top of it and you break it and you're like, my perch. I finally got a nice perch. I was having a good time and you come here and break it. Yeah,
fantastic. So okay, I guess that segues decently into gameplay.
Yeah.
Metroidvania. So as in classic Metroidvania, you go through, the first levels, and as you're going through, you see things that are obviously telegraphed as like, oh, you're gonna want to come back here later once you gain XYZ power. And you're like, okay, I'll note that. As you go through, you gain various powers from these Chuzo statues, and you gain fighting techniques, like wrestling techniques, essentially. And each one is like color coded, essentially. Once you get like the important ones that allow you to break
the movement.
Yeah,
basically, they're movement ones.
Well, no, because I mean, like the first one you get, I think, is the uppercut, which is like very slightly movement, and then like the second one you get is the headbutt, which is not movement at all.
It is very slightly movement, but it does make you use it for movement.
Oh yeah, like, I pretty much used it like the entire game. I don't know about you, but I was uppercutting to get that tiny little boost the whole game.
I was too. You had to. You couldn't do some of the platforming without doing it.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you could have, just because there was a difference between, like, they made it pretty evident that there was a difference between the jump and like the tall jump. But I'm so bad at holding the button that I just, whenever I double jump, once you get the double jump, I never tall jumped first. I would just always short jump and then uppercut to make up the remaining jump.
Yeah.
But that's very obviously a me issue.
So whatever. I mean, whatever worked for you.
Yeah, I mean, I got through. I'm not really mad about it.
Rooster uppercut.
Yeah.
And then you get I think
the headbutt.
Headbutt, which is Olmec's headbutt.
Man, this
wiki you can use it to bad. Yeah, it's fandom. What do you expect?
True.
You get I guess it could be. It kind of like whenever you use it in the air, it kind of just like stops you in midair while you use it. So I don't know.
Which is really good, but like not really useful outside of like dealing damage.
Yeah. Then you get Frog Slam, which is like a you slam down onto the ground from the air. And then what do you get next?
Okay, so what was it? You said Rooster uppercut, then you got Olmec's headbutt, and then you got Frog Slam, which you just talked about, and then you got the.
I think you go right to like goat jump.
What was the Falcon punch called? The blue punch.
Oh,
was it Dashing Derp Derp?
Yeah, it was Dashing Derp Derp.
Which is just
you ran out of names.
He's like, I don't have anything to name. It's just called Dashing Derp Derp. But
Dashing Derp Derp. I ran out of names. And you're like, okay, great.
All right, great, cool, thanks.
I think
Which, I mean, honestly, the most useful one out of everything. Like, really I'm gonna be completely honest. It's like an AOE move that dashes you forward, and you just punch things.
Does and then good damage. All the goat moves. You get goat climb, goat jump, which is wall jump, goat fly, which is like.
Is that the one where you like dash forward? Yeah, I think you get
soar across large open spaces, which I can only akin to it. Crystal Dash from Hollow Knight.
Well, yeah, that's basically what it is.
I don't know if you.
Yeah, I know what that is. I've seen it.
Yeah, you get that goat climb, which
Listen, pal, just because I haven't beat the game doesn't mean that I haven't watched plenty of things on the YouTube, okay?
All right. I'm just saying.
I think you get goat climb before goat fly, just because you have to use goat climb to get to the mountains.
Yeah, goat climb. While you're latched onto the wall with goat jump, you can press up and go climb, and you'll like run up the wall.
Yeah, you run up the wall, which is fantastic. It's not like, you climb up it slowly. It's like, no, you like sprint up the wall. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's good. Then of course double jump and dimension swap you get right after defeating Extabay.
Yeah, that's not really one of those powers necessarily, but it's pretty important on a lot of the puzzles in the game. So, I don't know. Maybe there was, but I didn't get any of the chicken powers. Maybe these
those are.
You think those are two?
I mean, the only one that isn't is Polo Power, which is
Pollo Power.
just turning into a chicken in general. That's just what it's called.
Yeah. Let me see here.
Eagle Boost, I think, is Guacamelee too.
Yeah.
We'll see those. Intenso is the like.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about that next. Intenso is like you punch things and you build the intenso meter, and then once you use it,
It's like your
damage is like
special
doubled. Your cooldowns are less, and you can just like attack a lot.
A lot of power. Like it does a lot of damage.
And it increases the what's it called? The meter.
For every one you hit,
yeah,
you get longer.
It extends the meter. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't hardly use it.
I didn't either.
I feel like there were times where I really should have, but I just like didn't.
It was pretty much the times I used it were times when like they show up with the that little like small enemy that gives it to you automatically.
Yeah.
And then I just used it for however long it gives it to me for.
Yeah. There was like, one place
use this now because we give it to you.
There was one particular, like, very specific place that I like. It's stuck in my memory that I could not get past unless I used it. It was this little like walled-in section where the floor was green blocks that would break. Do you remember this?
Yes, I do remember that.
And like the enemies had the green shield, which we'll talk about in a second. But they had the green shield, and so you had to break it. But then it also broke the floor, and like. I had to use Intenso to eliminate enemies as soon as possible. Otherwise, they just like knock me into the lava and I die and have to redo it again. And I was like, I hate this. I hate it.
Yeah, that one was annoying. I did it without Intenso though.
So. Well, okay then.
I don't know. I just did it over and over.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, the powers have colors, as we talked about before. You use them to break blocks
of the same color.
Which allow you to get into different areas, and parts of the map that are blocked off previously.
Secrets and whatnot.
Right. In like previous parts of the map that you've never seen before, yada yada, regular metroidvania stuff.
Yeah.
But because they also correspond to a color, they also correspond to a color of a shield that certain enemies acquire. Like, let's say you have a red shield on an enemy, you have to uppercut them to even deal damage.
Yes.
Yellow, you have to headbutt them. Green, you have to frog slam them, etc., etc.
Blue is the
dashing derp.
And white, they have a white shield too, but
yeah,
that one you have to hit them multiple times.
Yeah, you just have to hit them a lot in succession. Which all of these were like, at first I was like, okay, this is kind of whatever. It doesn't really matter. But like once they start mixing them in and then giving you enemies that change shield types, like it actually gets really
annoying
and really hard.
And then they introduced the dark versions of enemies, which
like
A, deal
teleport
more
away,
and then B, if you do enough damage to them, they teleport. And then they have shields sometimes too, and it's just like, oh god, leave me alone.
Pretty much. It's the only ones that were really truly annoying of those were I think they're the yellow skeletons that
those fast ones. Fuck those guys.
The ones that dodge out of the way, where they'll dodge out of the way and then teleport, and then they have a shield, and if they have like a yellow shield, they're like immortal because you don't see them stand still long enough to headbutt them.
Yeah.
It's
what I did for that was even if they have a shield, you can still like hit them and knock them around with your combo, your like 3-punch combo.
Yeah, your basic combo.
And once they're like flying through the air and land on the ground, I go over and headbutt them, and then they break their shield, and then you just kill them normally. The enemies I found most annoying were those and the ones with the 3 swords.
Oh yeah, because like they're just immune to being knocked out.
It was the most annoying thing. Any variation, whether it's the dark version or the normal version.
Yeah.
Because like A, they can dodge, and B, like they can't be hit out of their spinning attack. Um, they they like they just knock you down
Yeah,
every time.
there were definitely instances of if you get knocked down against certain enemies or enemy combos, you could just get like infinitely knocked down until death.
Yeah. Yep.
Which was like really frustrating, but entirely avoidable. Like 100% avoidable if you were just like not bad at the game.
Yeah.
You just knew that you needed to avoid things.
Because I mean, you do have a dodge.
Yeah, you have a really, really good dodge, but
it's really good.
Like you can dodge in the air and then dodge on the ground, and it
and
avoids all damage, and you can spam it. So it's extremely good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to basically learn that like sometimes you just need to dodge spam until you get in a better position, and then you can actually fight.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to ask you what your favorite boss was.
You already told you. Well, I don't know. The end boss was really good.
Because you told me what like.
Oh, you said character wise earlier, and that was
Yeah.
but like favorite boss, like gameplay wise, probably the end boss.
Oh, really? Like the end boss first phase or second phase?
The first phase was really annoying until I figured it out, but the second phase was good. I liked it.
Interesting. I think my favorite boss was the trio.
Like
100%. Their music was just, it was god tier.
True, their music was good.
Their gameplay was like absolutely stellar. I loved it. The other one was probably the first phase of the last boss. Is probably my second favorite, just because. Or wait, was it Kalaka that like he would switch into the world of the dead?
Switch dimensions.
Yeah. Oh man, I love that so much.
Like right in the middle.
Yeah, it was great.
That I liked that phase less. The second phase I liked more.
Nah, I didn't really care for the second phase.
I know you didn't, but
yeah, no, I think the trio was probably the best. Extabe was all right. Flame Face was also just okay.
I think Extabe was like her battle was kind of basic.
Yeah, and then I mean she's supposed to be. I think she's like the first.
She's the first
major boss. Yeah, and then Javier was kind of. He was just
like he just fought you.
Well, he was just like your abilities. Like that's it.
Like considering he was trained by, the same master.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But
yeah, the end boss. Oh, we should also explain, I guess, the fact that you become immune to damage when you grapple.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that's
and the fact that you have a grapple. we didn't mention that at all. But yeah, when you do enough damage to an enemy, you can like grapple them and then like throw them or like slam them. And while you're grappled with an enemy or a grappleable object, you can't be hurt. You are immune to damage.
So this is actually really funny because it actually kind of represents it actually kind of represents kind of a nitpick I have with the game, as strange as that is.
Yeah.
The grabbing for the enemies was a great touch because it allows you to essentially like crowd control multiple enemies by throwing them into each other while also not taking damage. But the cactus enemies can only be killed by waiting around and getting something thrown at them, or that they throw at you, and then throwing it back at them.
I agree with this nitpick. That is one thing that I did not like.
I found that incredibly tedious to sit there and wait, especially when there were like 4 of them. And then like the hitboxes for these tiny little bombs that they're throwing at you are so weird.
So small and weird.
Just like Please.
And if you miss it, and then you're like, you gotta wait around for them to throw another one, and it's like, ugh.
Like, this game has such forward-facing, like aggressive combat, like just go and punch stuff. And then you get to these enemies and you're like, why me, dude?
We should also note that this game doesn't have any like projectiles. Like you don't have like a ranged attack.
A ranged weapon or anything. Like you don't
No,
like
no
your ranged
attack.
weapon are the enemies that you're fighting.
Yeah, your combat, you go in and melee. Hence the name.
Yeah, pretty much.
You go in and fight.
Yeah.
You can't just sit back and shoot like a ranged weapon at all.
No.
Your ranged weapon is
There's
you
no
go in,
safe
punch them.
gameplay.
You go in, punch them until you can grapple them, then you throw them.
Yep.
That's your ranged weapon.
And so whenever the throwing mechanic became relevant again in the end boss, which I don't think is a spoiler, but it becomes relevant again in the final boss, I don't know, I was kind of turned off by that fact, because it's like, I haven't needed to do this for a single fight. I've wanted to because it was fun, but like every time
it was, as you said, great crowd control, because it would like knock everybody down and then you can go over and punch them.
Yeah, but the thing is like if you're against one enemy, like grabbing and punching is really not great. You know what I mean? Like
I still did it.
I don't know.
Because you can hold down and then press B and you slam them into the ground and it does like a shitload of damage.
Yeah, I don't know. I just would like if there's one enemy, you just punch them. That was the fastest way to kill them, unless I don't know. But like if there are many enemies, throwing them around is significantly better.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the end boss. You like basically had to start throwing things again, and I'm just like, the only time that I've had to do this is like outside of like grabbing enemies is like a bad experience. So like, why are you bringing it back in the final boss other than to just be annoying? You know what I mean?
To be fair, you can dodge most of his other attacks. The only one I used it on was the like big main laser, because like the cross lasers.
No, I know, of course,
but it's the one that goes to the left. That one is the one that you have to use that to dodge.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, other than it's annoying. I'm not saying that it's necessarily bad. I'm just saying that I find that particular mechanic in this game, it slows the combat down, and every other part of the combat is so much faster and so much more exhilarating.
Yeah.
That like I just please like go back to fast combat. I don't know. Personally, that's just me.
I don't know. I didn't have any problems with it. I agree with you about the cactus guys though. They suck.
Yeah.
The grappling wasn't a problem for me. I loved it.
So, is there anything else we want to talk about? I guess the only other thing I wanted to mention was that we did say before that we did only play through essentially the minimum
pretty much. I mean,
of the game
as I found.
Yeah, I mean, I did as well, but
I didn't find I didn't do a few of them because like it would just.
Well, I was going to mention
what they were asking for.
I was going to say that there are apparently 6 orbs. That you get one of them in the final boss of the game. In order to get the true ending to this game, you have to get 5 orbs before you even fight the end boss, right?
Yeah. So I just hope one of those orbs isn't in hell when you gotta complete all the challenges, because I did one of the challenges and it's just like this is hard.
You're like, no.
I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Although I think I do. I might know where one of the orbs is. If you go to the mines and you go down through all the like levels.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think one's there.
There's a door you can't reach until like way later until you get double jump.
And
I didn't go back there.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. Is like if you're playing this game and you really like I don't know, you could say like true endings or like good endings or whatever it is. Like, be aware that you don't get that unless you basically 100% the game.
Yeah. Which I mean is true for a lot of Metroidvanias, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like you get the double jump in the final temple, and it's just like at that point, I'm not gonna go back.
Yeah.
I'm
Pretty
already in the
much.
final temple, like most of the way through it, and I was just like, okay, well, I I don't wanna just stop here.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be if it was the second time playing, I might.
Well, I mean,
But
this is a kind of another thing that we've been running into with this series. We don't really get to spend as much time with games as we really want to. Like, there are some games where we cannot stand. We're like, we're ready to be done with this,
Yeah.
But like certain games, like
if you've watched up to this point, you'll probably know which ones they are.
yeah. Well, like the ones that I can think of off the top of my head is like Grime and
Oh, really?
like
The good ones that you want to play again. I thought you meant the ones that
No, I mean the ones where we didn't have enough time with them.
Yeah. I thought you meant the ones that we like couldn't stand that we wanted to be over.
No,
Those
no.
I think of that off the top of my head. For me was obviously
Cave Story.
No, not Cave Story.
Not Cave Story.
Cave Story was the one we wanted to spend more time with.
Oh, what are we talking about?
I'm talking about the ones that we couldn't stand.
Okay, the ones we couldn't stand. That would be
Spelldrifter and also Dragon Wonder Boy and the Dragon's Trap.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's at the top of the list. For me at least. Oh boy.
Yeah, seriously.
So I think the top ones, I think it was like Mages of Mistralia and then like Wonder Boy are the top two that I didn't want to play anymore.
For me, it was Wonder Boy and then probably Spelldrifter and then I guess Insurmountable.
Oh man, yeah. Insurmountable was just oof, boy. I think Grime, this game, and maybe Submerged Hidden Depths were quite good for just like let me 100% you.
Saturnalia 2 was one of them.
Oh, that you were just like, I can't wait to be done with this.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, pretty much. It was more of just like, this is just dragging on
forever. Yeah, I think that's.
But yeah, I think that's it.
I think that about covers it. This game, I'm gonna give this game a 9.5.
I was gonna do the same out of that or 10, like a full 10 out of 10.
I mean, by all means, give it a 10. Like, this is your favorite genre,
Yeah, it's one of my favorite genres.
Like, probably. I don't know. I don't know what a 10 looks like yet. I haven't seen it. I have not been like fully in love with a game yet.
Pretty close.
But this is up there.
It's
like up there. Yeah, 9.5 would recommend to anybody.
9.5.
It's not difficult except at certain points.
Later in the game it gets a little more combat heavy.
Yeah, but I mean like I feel like you can I don't know. I feel like most people
just go to combo chicken easy.
Well, because the game's like save points and respawn points are so forgiving.
Yeah, true.
You can just keep ramming your head against the wall until you win. And like that is fantastic game design if you are like playing to a more casual audience but still want to challenge your players. Like here is a fight. It's hard, but you can keep trying it forever. You don't have to travel 18 miles to get to the fight, Like yeah.
Agreed.
I am
great game, highly recommended.
Go tell all your friends. Tell them now. Tell them now. All right. So next week
will be the second one.
Guacamelee 2, baby. We're going back for more. Oh, man, I'm ready. I am so ready.
I am also ready.
I'm kind of anxious cuz I'm hoping that it's as good if not better than previous game, but like current game it's going to be just as good, right? Like it has to be. If they did,
just make this first game again.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it's with another story. Basically.
Pretty much.
So,
let's hope so.
All right. Well, unless you have anything else, I think that about wraps it up.
That's it.
Thank you so much for listening. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. Until next week, catch us doing this exact same thing again.
Yeah.
Have a good one, everyone. See you later.
Bye-bye.